let's get right into analyzing the USD versus the Canadian dollar, aka the Loonie. So if I go to the monthly chart, look at this double top. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, so if we say that's the top and we say 1.2 is the bottom, right, because of these pivots. Again, this is a monthly chart, so these levels are very powerful. You know, position traders could have just played the swings. All right. This is the 13 simple moving average, which is pointing up. Maybe you're setting up for a bull flag setup. Okay, let's just alright, potentially there will be a breakout at some point in the future. Don't know. This 1.3 level might be interesting, so we just have to analyze that a bit more on the lower time frames. So let's go to the weekly chart. So the Canadian dollar, very tied to the price of oil. Oil has been declining. So Canadian dollar has been declining versus the US dollar, which has been climbing. Let me just make sure I set that right. So oil has been going down. It's correlated to Canadian dollar, so Canadian dollar is going down against the USD. We also have the hawkish data coming out of the US, so we see a rally in the US dollar, so which makes sense why we've been in decline. Okay. This might have been an interesting level. We'll have to look at that on the daily chart. So since mid 2021, price has been range bound with a bias to the upside. Finally broke out in September of 2022. Trying to think if that's when oil spiked to, yeah, it's probably when oil spiked to $120. And then we had the US Fed's continuing to hammer the interest rates higher, which resulted in demand being suppressed for everything. Let's see. Got decent volume in this candle here. Just want to see if there's anything on the upside. I don't really see anything, which potentially leads me to believe that prices can move higher to this 147 over time, potentially. Alright, let's go down to the daily chart. So you had a rally in price, you had some basing where the buyers and sellers were duking it out for the next direction in price, and then we had this explosive move higher, right? So it makes sense why this level worked out a first time, second time, a third time. So we'll just mark it as daily buyers 1.32 5. Now, the more that price continues to, say, retest this level, the weaker this level becomes. So you do have another little zone. Right here at 1.315. Alright, so on the downside you have support at two different levels. Don't really see anything on the upside. Right. So potentially if we see a continued price decline in oil, and again this is all being tied to the China reopening. Once China opens their markets, we should see demand kicking for oil, raising the price in oil. But for the time being, the charts are potentially saying you have a breakout, a retest, and then potentially you resume the upward move. Potentially. Fundamentals say maybe later this year the US Feds, they at least stop raising rates, pause for a certain amount of time. China reopens. That's going to spark demand for oil. So fundamentally, these levels should not hold. Technically, these levels should hold based on, if I go back to the monthly chart, based on its potential monthly bull flag being supported by daily buyers with really no upward resistance or supply sellers. You could say that potential next target on this pair might be this round hole number, which is a psychological number at 1.4. But again, we'll just have to see how the economic data comes out of Canada and the US over the next several weeks. Let's just go back to the daily to show you the setup. Either way, I would say this pair is bullish. You potentially have a break of the trend line, pull back to test the trend line, upward movement. Price breaks down. You got buyers waiting to buy price, potentially pushing that back up as well. Those are the plays on the USD Canadian dollar. Until next time.